everybody, and a big welcome back to the Wheel Order channel. I hope you're all doing fine. Today we're going to be making a delicious crispy puff pastry apple tart. This recipe is so easy to make. Now I've actually made my own puff pastry for this recipe, but I haven't included it in the video because I'm not an expert on making my own puff pastry. So if you want to make your own, feel free to do that. There's loads of recipes on YouTube showing you how to make it, or you could just buy the pre-made puff pastry from the supermarket, which is a lot easier in my opinion. It does come out a little bit tastier if you make your own though, so the extra effort is worth it if you want to go to that extra effort. So we're using up lots of apples in our kitchen just now, so this is just another one of our favourite recipes to use up our apple supplies. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started on this delicious apple tart recipe. So for this lovely crispy apple tart, we're going to need these ingredients here. It's very, very simple to put together, especially if you're using some shop bought pastry as well. So these are my cooking apples from my garden that I am using, my organic apples, and these are my eaten apples that I'm using for this recipe. So just use whatever you can get your hands on for cooking and eating apples. And I'm just going to be cutting up the cooking apples for making the mash. It's for the apple puree kind of consistency for the middle of the tart. So we're just chopping it up into small pieces there, and we're going to be adding that into our pan. So I've only cut up one apple here just to show you the size that I'm chopping them up to. I mean, it doesn't have to be any particular size, really, just any kind of rough shape will do. We're just going to pop them all into the pan. So it looks like quite a lot of apples that we're using for our puree, but it does kind of cook down into a smaller sort of quantity. So we're going to add our sugar in there as well, and we're just going to give that a wee stir through. On a warm heat as well, just until they start to release a little bit of moisture. Once they have been cooking for about 15 minutes or so, if you're finding they're not cooking very well, you could add a little bit of butter or a little bit of water in there as well. And then once they're nice and soft, we're just going to mash them roughly down with a fork. So we're going to add our cinnamon and a little bit of vanilla in there as well. You could also add a wee bit of mixed spice if you wanted to. And we're just going to give that a wee mix through. So I'm still mashing some of the chunkier pieces because we do want it quite smooth, but as I've said, you don't need it completely smooth, so don't worry. So we're just going to add that into a jug or a bowl just to cool down, and we're going to set that to the side. And we're going to grease a baking tray, or you could use a tart tin like mine to hold the shape. I thought I would just use this tin, one because my baking tray is ruined and I've had to throw it out, but two because it's got a really nice shape to it that I wanted to keep the tart in. So if you don't have a tray like this, it's fine. You can just put it onto a baking tray. That's totally fine. It's going to work out just as well. So we're looking for a really nice thick piece of pastry here. So we're rolling our pastry out so it's nice and thick, as you can see in the video here, and we're just popping it into, you can just pop it straight onto a baking sheet or pop it into a tray like I have done here. And I'm just scoring inside the tart dish here. This is going to be the area where we're going to be adding our mashed apples. So we want to just score halfway through the pastry so that the outer edge of the pastry puffs up, and just so that it's like sort of puffier than the inner circle. So I'm just trimming mine here. If you've got yours on a flat baking sheet, you won't need to do that. It's just that because I'm using this dish, I don't really want like a crust coming up. So so I'm just trimming it, and you can use any extra pastry as well, just for decorating the top of the tart if you want to. So we're just going to take all of that off and just set that to the side. Just make sure as well, if you're using a dish like this, that it is really well buttered or greased, whatever you're using to grease up your tin. And the same for your baking sheet as well. You want to use plenty of butter to grease it up. So I've got a little bit left over there. I'm just going to make a little bit of decoration for the top of the tart, or you could make a mini one if you wanted to as well and just pop it in the oven closer towards the end of the cooking time. So we're going to add our cooled apple puree, or our mashed apples, into the middle. So it's not a complete puree, as you can see. We're just going to pile that up into the center of the tart here. So we're going to add our cooking apples on the top here, or eaten apples, sorry. If you can't get your hands on eaten apples, it's fine. Just use extra cooking apples, it's okay. So we're just going to add slices on the top there. Now you can boil your slices or sort of cook them down a little bit so they are a little bit softer before you put them on here, but to be honest, I find they cook really well in the oven and I like a little bit of crunch to them. We're just going to sprinkle them with sugar as well, and we're going to pop that into our oven, 180 for 20 minutes. Should come out nice and brown like this. It is a little bit more golden than is showing in the camera here. It's just I was filming this part at night time because the nights are really drawing in here and I'm having to film in the mornings to get proper light. So this one, it was quite dark in my kitchen and the spotlights were kind of making it look a little bit lighter than it actually was. Now on the top of the tart, I have just brushed that over with some jam. I've actually used some I think it's blackcurrant jam from my larder cupboard, I think there. You can use whatever you have available, just any old jam will do, even strawberry jam would be nice, raspberry, blackcurrant would be lovely as well. You can even skip the jam if you want to, you don't have to brush the jam over the top. I just find it adds some nice colour and it also adds an extra bit of sweetness on top of the apples as well. So you'll see all the lovely layers here when we cut into it. It's so easy to make this recipe, especially if you're using shop bought puff pastry, if it's made for you already. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed making your delicious apple tart recipe and I hope it came out well for you. Please feel free to leave a comment below if you did try it and it did turn out well. And if you have any questions as well, just pop me a comment or send me an email to my email address that's in the about section. And if you're over on Instagram, pop over and say hello. I'm always active on there every single day pretty much, so pop over and say hi over there. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, and I will see you guys again soon. So take care, lots of love, bye bye.